Hello everyone, welcome back to another Star Trek New Horizons tutorial with Cornish Ratbeard and myself. Today we are going to be looking at Empire starting conditions. Before we begin, remember if you like this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to both of our channels for new Star Trek New Horizons content and guides and tutorials. In this tutorial we're going to be looking at the Gamma Quadrant, which goes from here to here. I am going to leave out the Neburite Alliance as they are on the edge of this division, and I will include them in the Alpha Quadrant. Starting up here, we have the Hur'Q Stangancy, which is an unawakened empire. When we zoom into the Hur'Q system, you will see that there is one planet colonized, which is the Hur'Q capital. The Hur'Q have 60 Hur'Q pops and also 3 Klingon pops on this planet as well. We find out this information throughout the Star Trek shows, especially in Deep Space Nine, where the Hur'Q are explored more and their relation to the Klingons. The Hur'Q planet is a Taurid planet and starts off with a unique selection of buildings because of being the capital of an unawakened empire. They have 4 sky domes, which provide housing and amenities, a master archive for research, an auto forge which produces alloys, a building that produces energy, a dimensional fabricator which produces several of these special resources as you can see here, nourishment center for food, 2 affluent centers to produce supplies, an ancient palace which makes a lot more districts possible, an imperial museum, alloy foundries again for alloys, and a local garrison as well. They also start off with 6 city districts as well. Population, as I've mentioned, 60 Hur'Q pops and 3 Klingon pops. And for armies, they have a range of defensive armies as well. The Hur'Q also have several fleets. The first one being this one. This is a series of assault vessels, which look like this. They are the equivalent of between the destroyer and the cruiser class. And they have a total fleet power of 255,000. Next, we have a fleet of flagships. These are similar to battleships. There are 5 flagships in this fleet, and they look like this, and have a total fleet power of 262.8 thousand. Finally, the third fleet is made up of interdictor class vessels. They look like this, and they have a total fleet power of 186.7 thousand. The Hur'Q only control 1 system. Continuing round, we'll continue around this way. The next ones are the Oschean Hunters, who start in the Zaid system. They have 1 colonized planet, the Makor planet, or one called Makor, which starts with the base selection of buildings that all generic empires start with. However, they do start with one extra building called the Toskian Refuge. On the Makor planet, we have 22 pops. 2 of them are Tosk, which are a slave species that are hunted by the Oschean Hunters, and 20 are the Oscheans. More about this lore can be found in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. They do also have defensive armies as well. Additionally, they also have 3 patrol frigates, which is their starting fleet. Those patrol frigates look like this. Next, the Dominion. The Dominion have a multi-system start and have 5 colonized systems, along with the Founders Planet, which is their capital. On the Founders Planet, we can see that there are 10 pops, 6 of whom are changelings, 3 Vorta, and 1 Jem'Hadar. The Founders Planet is a unique planet because it has the Great Link habitability, meaning that it is 100% habitable for changeling pops, but very uninhabitable for all other species. Again, this is a breakdown of the population. And here is the planet summary. They start with a unique building called the Great Link, which replaces any type of government buildings. They also have Great Link modules that can be, or Great Link districts that can be built, which provides additional housing, jobs, and building slots. There's also the cloning facility, which creates Vorta and Jem'Hadar, and a Ketracel White refinery, which creates supplies of Ketracel White, which is what the Dominion calls supplies. Additionally, they start with 8 patrol frigates. Their patrol frigates look like this. On the colonies, we have Kirill, Kirill Prime. This is where we have 12 Vorta and 7 Jem'Hadar pops. There are also 2 pre-sapient pops as well that are proto-Vorta. They can eventually be uplifted to create better Vorta after some research and tradition options are selected. There are no defensive armies on Kirill Prime. Moving to the Brax system, the Brax has the planet of Brax 1. There are no armies. There are 5 Vorta and 4 Jem'Hadar on this planet, and they start with a cloning facility, large-scale hydroponic fields, fusion reactors, and the administration complex. Next is the Gar Citra system, which starts with the Gar Alam planet. Here there are 4 Vorta and 5 Jem'Hadar. We have an administration complex, a cloning facility, a Ketracel White refinery, a mining network, and an alloy foundry. This is how... There are also 2 Proto-Jem'Hadar. Again, like the Proto-Vorta, these can eventually be uplifted with the right research and tradition options selected in order to create improved Jem'Hadar. There are also no defensive armies on this planet. In the Teplan system, we have our first non-founder, non-Vorta, non-Jem'Hadar species with the Teplon themselves. There are no defensive armies on this planet. The Teplon are here, which act as workers. And planet summary, they start with the administration complex, a cloning facility, large-scale hydroponic fields, and a fusion reactor. Note there are no city districts here. And then in the Upmere system, we have the planet of Upmere 2. Again, administration complex, cloning facility, large-scale hydroponic fields, and fusion reactors. We have 5 Vorta pops and 4 Jem'Hadar pops, and there are no defensive armies here either. Next, the Karemma Foundation is a single system starting empire. They have 3 patrol frigates, which look like this. They also start with the Karemma planet as their empire capital. They do have defensive armies. They also have 22 Karemma pops, and they have a selection of the base starting buildings. However, they also have the unique Karemma trading post building, which is unique to this empire, and they also have a banking complex because they are an economic empire. There are also 6 city districts that have already been built. Next is the Dosi Confederacy. They start in the Dosaurus system. They also start with 3 patrol frigates. Those patrol frigates look like this. They also start with the planet of Dosa. They start with 20 Dosi pops. They start with the generic base starting buildings and 6 city districts. They also do have defensive armies. Next, we have the Wadi Emirates. They start in the Wadi system. They also start with 3 patrol frigates that look like this. They also start on the planet Tamurala, which is here. They start with 20 pops that are all of the Wadi species. They start with defensive armies, and they start with the base selection of buildings and 6 city districts. Moving on, we have the Rahkari Third Imperium. They are also a single system start empire. There are 3 patrol frigates in their starting fleet. They look like this. Additionally, they start on Rahkar Prime, which has 20 Rahkari pops. They also start with the typical base buildings and 6 city districts. All of their pops are Rahkari, and they do have defensive armies as well. Moving on, we have the Argrathi Commonwealth. The Argrathi Commonwealth again start in only one system called Argratha. They start on Argratha Prime. They do have defensive armies. They also have 20 Argrathian pops. They also start with the same base generic buildings, and also 6 city districts. Next is the Turogan Empire. The Turogan Empire start in the Turogan system. They have 3 patrol frigates. These patrol frigates look like this. On Turogan Prime, they start again with the same basic buildings as all generic empires, as well as 6 city districts. They have 20 Turogan pops, and they do have defensive armies on this planet. Next is the Skrean Republic. The Skrean Republic start in the Skree system with 3 patrol frigates. Those patrol frigates look like this. They also start on the planet of Skry. They do start with defensive armies. They have 20 Skrean pops, and they have the same generic buildings that all generic empires have, as well as 6 city buildings. City districts. And that is the Delta Quadrant for everything you can play. There is one more unawakened empire, called the Cytherian Enlightenment. They start off with only 1 colonized system, however they do control other systems. In the Cytheria system, they have the planet of Cytheria as their empire headquarters, their main empire capital. Again, because it is a unawakened empire, or a fallen empire, they start off with special buildings. So they start off with an ancient palace, which makes all of those districts possible. They have affluent centers to create supplies. They have a nourishment center for food, dimensional fabricator for special resources, a singularity for energy, auto forge which produces alloys, a master archive for research, and 4 sky domes for amenities and housing. Additionally, they have 3 starting fleets. They have a fleet of flagships. Those flagships look like this, and they have a total fleet power of almost 400,000. There is a fleet of interdictor class vessels. They look like this. Their total fleet power is 285.8 thousand. And then there is also a fleet of assault vessels. They look like this. They have a total fleet power of 394,000.
Well guys, thanks for joining us. If you haven't already, make sure you give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to both of our channels. If you find you're struggling at all with Star Trek New Horizons, then please do check out our tips, tricks and tutorials playlist linked in the description below and at the end of this video.
We also have a Discord server we call The Collective. We discuss everything from these videos to Star Trek in general to what we're having for Sunday lunch. We also make our announcements there as well, and organise multiplayer games that you can play with us. You can join our collective using the link in the description below.
The collective must grow.
Alright, that's it from us for now.
See you next time.
Make it so.